Allyson, I imagine you never thought you would become an expert in maternal mortality. You've gotten, I think, unfortunately, quite an education in this subject, haven't you?
Yes, you're absolutely right. Never would have imagined. And I think I understood the statistics before, but still being a professional athlete, I just thought that will never happen to me.
So when did you start realizing, Allyson, that something was not right?
For me, I didn't realize that something wasn't right. I had a really great pregnancy. I knew I wanted to come back to compete, so I was training. I was pretty much training 4 or 5 days a week. I was on the track, in the gym, in the pool. So, really intentional with the idea that, I was going to resume right back onto the track. And at 32 weeks, I went into the doctor and I was just going for my routine checkup. And so went in, and immediately when I came in, I found out that I was spilling protein. And from there, my doctor sent me straight to the hospital for further monitoring. And it was not going well what they were seeing. And so I was admitted right away, and I spent that night in the hospital. And that's when things really started to go downhill. I was diagnosed with a severe case of preeclampsia. And my blood pressure was through the roof, and, the baby was not doing well, and things happened just so quickly. And I was trying to wrap my head around what was happening and trying to understand what was happening. And from there, after that evening, the next day, it continued to get worse. And we realized that it was an emergency situation, and that the only way out of it was to have an emergency C-section and to deliver. So it was terrifying.
Talk to us about preeclampsia, because I've often heard that term, but I don't quite understand what it is exactly.
Yes, so it's high blood pressure in the mother, severely high. And so when you have blood pressure that is that high, you're at risk for seizures. And so that was really what was, alarming. The seizures, your vision can go, all of these things, and your baby cannot be healthy inside the placenta at that time. And so the only cure is to deliver. And for me, I was only at 32 weeks. And so it was very, scary to have to deliver that early.
Were you completely asymptomatic up until then?
Yes. Looking back now, I realized that in probably the final week that I had some swelling in my feet. But, that is also just a symptom of pregnancy in general. But I realized that I didn't know what to look for. I didn't know the signs. That's probably the only physical sign that I had, was swelling in my feet and in my ankles. But I wasn't educated to know that, I should be looking for that symptom.
Do you think racism played a role in your experience?
I think that there might have been some of that implicit bias going on in my doctor's appointments previously.
Really? Why? Do you think that the doctor, whoever your doctor was educating, say, a white patient more about this?
I think when I look back, I guess it definitely wasn't outright. That was not my situation at all. But the fact that this wasn't a conversation, that it wasn't discussed.
Especially, as you said, since you were at greater risk.
Yes. I feel like every woman of color, immediately that you should be sat down and explained that, this is something you're at risk for. So in that case, I would say so.
Do you think, had you not had the resources that you have, had you not been an Olympic athlete, had you not been able to get the best medical care possible, that there's a chance that you might not be here?
I think it's a possibility for sure. And that is what really is scary to me. And that's what really wanted me to open up and to share my experience and my story, because I felt like, I had the best of the best, and I still ended up in a situation that was really scary and that we weren't sure about. And if I'm experiencing this, someone who might not have the best of healthcare or might not have even been heard to the level that I was, might not have made it.